Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Local Sports Roundup with Brandon coming up here in a scotch. Just want to revisit, kind of because we got cut off at the top of the hour there, kind of our plan, our idea, and such. So with the best sports towns, obviously we're taking, first of all, we want nominations. So if you're listening like, hey, I live in fill in the blank. We got some cool sports bars. We've got, some cool fandom stuff here. We've got, like you said, a softball league that's ran for 75 years. So we've got, diehard Packers fans here. Maybe there's a Packer bar or something like that. Or maybe the high school there has won some state championships. First of all, we want the cities in the 715. You got to have the area code 715.
Yeah.
But also, we got to come up with the criteria, the grading criteria on this thing. Or maybe it's just like, this might be the easiest way to do it, Brandon, and maybe the best way. Give us a suggestion, give us a nomination, why, list off the reasons. Maybe we'll go visit it too and experience it ourselves.
Yeah, for that, we got some time.
Yeah. And then we just that's a 7.7, on there. And we just want to highlight what's the best sports towns in 715.
Yeah.
The hidden gems, right? Because we got some good ones here. I feel like 715, our area, kind of gets ignored a little bit because Green Bay's to the east. Got the Packers, right? The Brewers and the Bucks in the southeast.
And the Badgers.
Yep, southwest, south central is Wisconsin and that.
Northwest needs some love.
We need some love, so let's highlight.
We are here to provide the love.
Yes. So what towns, what cities, what townships, what villages, what incorporated...
I want to hear from you, Ogama.
Jump River.
You have a softball tournament. I know you do.
Yep. Gad.
I never played in Gad. I heard about the Gad tournament, though, but never played in Gad.
See? That should be extra points since you heard about it.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. So, got a little golf course.
Whittlesea, you got 2 fields.
And a golf course.
You got an upper and a lower in the golf course. Come on now.
Just saying. And I know they got a couple bars over there. Potbelly. But, hey, let's show some love, okay? Send it. We want to hear from you. Okay, this is for you.
Do you have a bar in your town that has hams on tap? Let me know. That will get you points for me. I guarantee it.
That's what we're talking about.
And I might even make a trip just to have one.
I think it's better, Brandon, that we don't have a set grading scale.
I agree.
We got to go with the gut. Yeah. You know what? To put it in a sports analogy, no analytics.
This is just old school
blackboard drawing, scouting report sort of thing.
Yeah, we're just straight up going off the scouts. We're going to be the old guys from the 60s. From Moneyball that are grading people in ridiculous ways.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes. Perfect. We are the old scouts from Moneyball. No analytics here.
We are cranky.
Yep.
We don't know who Fabio is.
We are the GMs that will pay $120 million to Albert Hainsworth. Whatever the contract was that he got.
It was massive.
Massive out there. Or we are the Texans that gave a bunch of money to Brock Osweiler.
Because he was tall.
So, yes. Please let us know. So that's what we want to highlight to 715 sports towns out there.
Stetsonville, Brad, this is your time.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
I want to hear all about Stetsonville.
I'm partial to some of those. So, but Stetsonville had I don't know if they still do, but the fireman softball tournament over there.
I got some family lives in Stetsonville.
Do you really?
I do.
I did not know that.
Yep, I got my dad's side of the family lives over in Taylor County. Okay. I mean, I'm from Taylor County, obviously, but they live over in the greater Medford, Stetsonville area.
Right. So you got to let us know the cities, towns, villages. Not a certain spot. We want to know the villages and the towns. So like some of these places, where are they at? I don't know where they're at. People texting. So it's got to be the towns, got to be the villages, townships, cities, incorporated places.
If you know some history, let us know.
Yep. Or if you're listening in there, like, dude.
Put together your PowerPoint.
Hammond, come on.
Yeah, you don't have to. Ooh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Nap.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Last week I took my first trip to Baldwin.
Really?
I mean, I think I've driven through, but it's the first time I think I've ever stopped there.
All right.
It was a nice town.
Woodville?
I drove through Woodville because it's right by it.
Yep. All right. Let's do a little local sports run. I'll be looking for your messages, people. I'm putting this on you.
Right.
We're changing it up.
Help us.
Where else?
Help us help you. We want to hear you.
Where else will you get to hear about some awesome sports places in the 715? The hidden gems of the world. I want to know where there's a great Packer bar that I never heard about.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go catch a game there. Maybe there's a 9-hole course that I knew nothing about.
And we'll take a trip there.
Yep, exactly. Maybe we'll find that place that has amazing wings, Brandon. That'll be our go-to place for a game.
It's true.
Perkinstown.
They got the Tube Hill.
Yeah. See? We're just listing off a bunch.
We're doing your work for you, but we want to hear
this out there. You got a good ice fishing tournament? That's part of it.
Yeah.
Come on now. So, all right, let's do a little local sports roundup brought to you by Amundsen's Appliance Center. Let's go back to Surveyor. What's the town? The city. I need the town, the city. I mean, come on.
The village, whatever it is.
That sort of stuff.
We need names.
Yes.
Name names.
Okay. Back to it. Local Sports Roundup brought to you by Amundsen's Appliance Center. Let's go back to last week where you were. Again, a ton of local athletes. State track and field. I know we had teams winning, individuals, podium, and all that sort of stuff. Was there a couple or maybe a few that kind of jumped out to you while you were there? Did you wear the hat first?
I did not because it wasn't particularly sunny or warm. It wasn't super hot.
Okay.
So the hat was just in my car. Hat's still in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't really be able to wear it at state unless I'm there Saturday morning because it's going to be dark by the time I'm there.
Yeah.
So I've got the hat in the car. I can show you the hat.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Division I, Chippewa Falls boys 4x4 relay won the Division I state title.
Mm-hmm.
Last race of the night. That was a group that they entered state as the number 1 seed. They had the top time in the state during the regular season, the postseason. Like they backed up their time, which was big for them. And they had another relay, the 800, that finished second. I'm gonna be going through this very broad strokes here. Bloomer girls, their freshman class is an outstanding first meet down there. They had 2 state championships. They won the 4x8 in Division II. They
ran into Bloomer Tony that Friday night at the Express game. He was telling me a little bit about it too. So
that was night 1 for them. But that led into the big Saturday, and then Sierra Hartman won the 2 mile.
Mm-hmm.
She had like a 5-second lead after the first lap and just kind of held it.
Wow.
It was one of those things where, I was talking to some people there, like some people that maybe weren't as familiar with her, like they were kind of. Because Friday when she led early in the 1 mile, and then she got passed by a couple runners, and she admitted to me after the fact that she kind of went out too fast. I mean, obviously in those distance races, it's all about pacing yourself,
right?
And she kind of learned a lesson there, and that picked up on Saturday where she for those 2 races she kind of could relay that to the other runners too. That hey, as tough as it is, and to not when you're in that environment, you want to go 100 miles an hour, but you can't because you'll burn up.
Yeah.
But she learned that lesson there, and the 4x8 actually was already kind of within striking distance a little bit of the state record in their first meet. It was one of the top 50 times of all time actually in Wisconsin. So that freshman group of the Hartman triplets, Aaliyah, Briella, and Ciara, and then Sophie Strand. That's all freshmen. And
wow.
they had another freshman that just missed the podium, Grace Krejci. In the she did the long jump and the 200. She just missed the long jump. So it's a very special freshman class that Bloomer has, and you'll see it in you've already seen in cross country last fall. They were runner up in Division II, with all of their runners, their scoring runners being freshmen. So that's a group you're going to be hearing a lot about in the coming years.
And head coach is same for cross country, right?
Correct. Yeah, Carla Favila. So
yeah, got the continuity.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Between those two, those 2 sports, there's a lot of crossover. So, Cadets, Izzy Sontag repeating as Division III state champion, the 400. She won last year as a freshman. She came back and won this year. Had a couple other podium finishes, some strong finishes for Cadet as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to.
There's a lot, man.
There is, but Rice Lake, they tied for the team championship in Division II for girls.
Nice.
They tied with Freedom, and that came down to the last race, and came down to the last 10 feet of the last race because it was, I believe it was an Osceola runner that kind of made a late surge to help ultimately force a tie there.
Wow.
Where it was the difference between one spot, which was like an extra point, which would have been the difference between a championship or a share or whatever. So, and for Rice Lake, that's it's been a great few years. Obviously, people remembering going back not too far with Kenny Benerick and that group, but they right now a lot of really good athletes there too. So that was that's a heck of an effort for them as well.
So I think we're going to see Kenny actually here shortly.
Yeah, we're guys.
So.
And then, actually yesterday I saw a commercial for the summer games on NBC, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's next month.
Yep.
Like we're almost to Olympics time, baby.
Yeah, we are.
So just so much going on down there, and I've talked about it. It's just so much fun. Like there's state records. A guy from Bigfoot actually set the state record for pole vault in all divisions, which was actually he was over 17 feet.
That's Bigfoot and 17 feet. I was just like,
I wanted to say Bigfoot because I wanted to get your attention.
Yeah,
so.
well, you saw me turn and look at you.
I did. It wasn't Bigfoot doing the pole vault, but a gentleman from there, and the height was like within like the top 5 in the nation this year. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. It was fun to watch. Like the fun thing about the state track meet is you have so many things, different things going on, but when there's something special going on, then they'll announce it, and you can just tell like. There can be a race going on the track, but if like in that case, but everyone's watching in the infield. Even I am. Like I'm just like, everyone is just kind of transfixed on this guy or this gal or whoever it is, like doing something. And for his case, he's clearing it, and then the whole crowd's cheering. Like you're in the middle of a race. Like it's got to be a bit unnerving if you're running like a 400, and suddenly like you're coming around the turn down the front stretch. Suddenly you just hear this big roar.
Yeah.
Because people are cheering for something that happened in the infield.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Man, that's got to be so cool to watch.
It is. It's a lot of fun. There
awesome.
And the weather was, like I said, there was a little rain Saturday morning, but it wasn't bad. It never really stopped much, and I'm sure the distance runners that ran the 4x8 relay Saturday morning appreciate it because distance runners love that kind of weather. You can still run and stuff and everything else, but that's ideal for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so. Kind of wrapped up, put a bow on
what was a really, really good spring track season here.
Mm-hmm. Then softball, we know the state. State starts today.
State starts right now. State's underway right now. You got the Division I quarterfinals starting this morning. So.
All right, got New Richmond, who's in Division I. They're going to be in action at 2 against Milton. Division 4, Fall Creek at 4:30 against Coleman. Division 5, your alma mater, Thorpe, is in action against Oakfield, a late one at 8:30.
Final game of the night tonight under the lights.
Yeah, primetime, baby.
They got the primetime game, so yeah.
Maybe a little bit closer here. New Richmond. New Richmond beat
Chippewa Falls.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they beat Chippewa Falls 1-0 in the sectional finals last week. They got a run on an infield signal in the 6th inning, and otherwise, it was an outstanding game. Like, just the type of game you're expecting at that level where, every pitch, every batter, every play matters. And, for New Richmond, it's a historic season. It's the first time they've been in the state since 1995. They won the Big Rivers during the regular season. They got a really good group led by a really strong senior class. They played 3 straight one-run games. In the regional finals, they beat out Superior, a really good Superior team, 4-3. A Superior team that can hit the ball. And then in sectional semis, they won a pitcher's duel with DC Everest 1-0, and then they won another pitcher's duel with Chippewa Falls 1-0. So, that's a team that is really battle tested. Like if it gets to be the 5th and the 6th inning in that game, and it's a close game, like they're not going to get nervous. That's all they've been playing this postseason seemingly. So, and then you mentioned Fall Creek. They had a 1-0 game of their own. A little bit extra on theirs. It was a 12-inning game at Casper Park, beating out Grantsburg. Those are the top 2 ranked teams in Division 4. Mm-hmm. Fall Creek is the 1 seed now down at state. First time they've gone to state. Mm-hmm. Coach Brad Saransky leading them down there. They're heading down there, and they're going to have high expectations, and rightfully so. And actually, I believe that entire Division 4 field is all first-time qualifiers. Mm-hmm. Fall Creek and Coleman in the one semi. Afterwards, you got Cuba City and Auburndale in the other. Mm-hmm. He said that game's at about 4:30 for them. So, and then in Division 5, you got Thorpe playing the final game of the night. They're the 4 seed. They're going to be taking on Oakfield after beating Mellon last week. Mm-hmm. So, and that Division 5 field, it's kind of the opposite of D4. It's all teams that have been there a lot. It's Oakfield and Thorpe in one semi. Thorpe's making their 8th appearance. Oakfield is amongst, I think they're 2nd in the state I think this is their 17th trip to state, behind only Stevens Point.
Wow.
And then in the other one, you got the defending state champion Stevens Point Pacelli going up against Wisconsin Rapids Assumption, who I believe 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or
and Pacelli's always a team that seems like
Pacelli,
they're too.
like those are just those are 4 great softball programs. Like those are. I mean, if you would have told me at the start this is the Final Four, I would have absolutely believed you. I mean, those are 4 programs that are there a lot.
Yep.
So, that's what you're looking at. And then tomorrow also you got Prescott, who's a 3 seed. They'll be taking on Broadhead at noon in the Division III semis. So, yeah, there's some local connections here, and all looking to make it to Saturday. So,
yeah. Then baseball, the seeds came out yesterday, Brandon. So, I mean, we had some local teams. The Tuesday, some of those teams playing double headers just to punch their ticket. It's kind of fun though to watch.
I like it.
Right?
Like I've said it on here before. I wish softball would do that.
Yeah,
I would love to see. Imagine. I'll just use Division I as the example where you would have had Stevens Point, Chippewa, New Richmond, and DC Everest, and then you would have turned around and had Chippewa. I mean, softball teams are used to playing multiple games a day.
Right.
Like if baseball can do it, there's no reason softball can't.
Right.
And I know they used to do it a long time ago. But that is something, honestly, I would like to see them bring back because it is really cool.
It was really cool to kind of follow along, too, because you had games starting 10 a.m. morning, and then another one, and then another one at the nightcap to decide who's going to state. So I know North fell early on. Altoona fell in their one. My dream of a Medford versus Altoona matchup fell just a bit short. But seeds did come out. So Hudson in Division I is a 6 seed.
Yep. They Big Rivers champions. They knocked off the top seed Stevens Point in the finals. Stevens Point team that was ranked really highly. That Hudson team though, it's they've been kind of at the top of the conference the last few years, and it's nice to kind of see them break through. I mean, they're so good in so many sports that they can just kind of add another one now. But they're be able to go and beat River Falls, who was kind of that one of those top contenders in the Big Rivers, and then to come back and beat Stevens, and to do that like back to back. Like Stevens Point played the first game, so they got a little bit of rest in the middle. That's really tough to do when you play that second game. Yeah, and essentially you're almost playing like 14 straight innings, right? Because you get a little bit of a break, but not much. Yeah, that's really impressive when you can do that.
In Division III, Cumberland got the 4th seed over there. They're going to be taking on Aquinas, and Division IV, Oliva Strum. So this is to me. I want to ask you, because they were seeded 5th in that tournament, weren't they, or in the bracket? Or were they 4th? Or they weren't a top seed in their bracket, were they, for Oliva Strum?
I'm going to take a peek. I just want to make sure. I want to double check on that just to make sure.
Because they are the 1 seed now.
They're the 1 seed now. They were the 5 seed.
Yeah.
They were the 5 seed. The Bangor was the 1 seed.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that's cool. Oliva Strum last year had a great run. This year they get ranked 5th, so a 5 seed, then they get to the state tournament. They jump up to a 1 seed.
Right. They've played one home game.
Yeah.
In the opening round, they beat Wisconsin Rapids Assumption 4-0. Then they went on the road, beat Marshfield Columbus. Went on the road, beat Bangor, who was the top seed. Then at sectionals, they beat Pittsville, and then they knocked off Royal.
Yeah.
And for them, there've been some closer, lower scoring games, but they got a lot of good pitching. Like at the Division IV level, you don't see that many teams that are that well stocked. So I think that bodes well for them at state because. You need multiple pitchers in baseball, especially once you get to the postseason, because obviously you have pitch limits and stuff like that. So if someone pitches and for Oliva Strum, being the 1 seed, they play one of the semifinals that's going to be coming up on Tuesday morning. They're going to be taking Pacelli.
Pacelli, yep.
So you get that.
Pacelli's got a busy couple weeks here.
They do. They're those fans of the stick and ball games are going to be logging some miles.
Yeah.
So, and then the other half you got Johnson Creek and Northwood Solon Springs.
Yep.
But that Oliva Strum team, they've got the arms. Like when you got 2 or 3 kids that you can trust to go out there, it's big because obviously you got one starting. But if they don't go the distance, it's nice when you have that reliever you can go to and know you can get a couple innings out of them, and they've got that. So they're the Cardinals are in a really good spot as they head down there early next week.
Right. So, and then soccer you mentioned too. We got sectionals coming up here.
Yes, we got girls sectional semis tonight.
Okay.
And that's you got a few local teams here in Division IV. I know you've got Regis McDonald. They're going to be hosting Somerset at Duray Field, so that's one. They'll take on the winner. That winner of that game will take on either River Valley or Adams Friendship on Saturday in Altoona, actually, with a trip to state on the line in Division III. You got Rice Lake hosting West Salem. They'll be the winner of that will meet either Ashland or Lakeland with a trip to state on the line. That's going to be in Rice Lake on Saturday. So. Division 2, New Richmond and River Falls, a Big Rivers rematch. On the bottom, you got a Mississippi Valley rematch with Onalaska and Holman. And that game will actually also, those two winners will actually play in Altoona before the Division 4 game. So it's actually be a doubleheader, at least right now. That could change depending on, but that's scheduled to be a doubleheader on Saturday at Oakleaf Stadium. So, and then Division 1, I know you've got Hudson still alive. I think they're the last Big Rivers team in Division 1. They'll be taking on DC Everest, who's the top seed, who edged out Eau Claire Memorial in a tight 2-1 matchup in the regional finals. And they'll meet either Kimberly or Appleton West. Again, that's coming up on Saturday. That's scheduled to be in Hudson. We'll see if that might get moved depending on how things work with the winds. And we're getting down to it. Golf obviously finished up earlier this week. Justice was down there logging the foot traffic out on Black Wolf Run. But
Memorial made a late surge.
They did. They made a really good charge at it on day 2. They made it interesting, that's for sure. They finished runner-up as a team. Tech Warehouser in Division 3 finished up runner as a team. Erie also got a state champion individually. So, that's cool. Credit to Durand, Arkansas's Logan Weisinger, winning the Division 3 title by 1 stroke over a couple golfers. But, that's really cool. And I know that it was earlier this year. I think it was at the Chippewa Falls Invite. I think Durand actually played in it. And, that Durand team was really good, So it's not a surprise to see, an individual kind of rise to the occasion there for them. And, as a team too for Tech, that's a big deal for them to be able to, they had a good year all year. And, when you have a really good year, if you kind of struggle at state, like, it shouldn't spoil it, but you just want to make sure when you're a team, it doesn't matter the sport, but you want to make sure you're trying to put together your best foot forward at state. And for a team, obviously we mentioned Memorial, but for a team like Tech Warehouser, they really did, finishing second to Mineral Point. So
all right, that's for the prep scene. I do want to know too, because in an hour and a half, the D3 World Series will continue. Whitewater is in it, and they got a sweep. They got to win their next 2 to be crowned champions.
They're fighting for their life right now.
Is it Misericordia? I don't know if I pronounced that right, but they've dropped game 1, so game 2 is going to. Both games actually are going to be played today. Game 2 starts at 10 a.m. Central Time here, and then game 3 set for 45 minutes after that. So UW-Whitewater still in contention for a national title in baseball. So Express last night, they fell to Rochester, but they're going to be on the road tonight. And then 4 straight games at Carson Park, Wilmer and Waterloo, starting out with Wilmer for 2 games Friday and Saturday, then Waterloo Sunday, Monday. That's your local sports roundup, brought to you by Amundsen's Appliance Center.